Have you ever seen your VPS or hosting provider advertise that they have a BGP network mix and wonder exactly what that means? Well, not to worry, I'm Christian from RackNerd, and in this video we're going to go over exactly what a BGP network is. Now, a BGP network is typically a good thing, and what this means is that it is actually a multi-homed network that uses multiple ISPs, or internet service providers. What this means is that all of those internet service providers are in that network mix. So this optimizes redundancy and server optimization. Now, before we begin, let's go ahead and define that specialized terminology. Now, BGP stands for Border Gateway Protocol. With a BGP network, it will automatically analyze and select the best network route to take. Now, a Tier 1 ISP, which stands for Internet Service Provider, can handle traffic from a lot of different sources. In other words, it has access to the global internet, the same as your home internet would. Some examples of some Tier 1 ISPs would be things like AT&T, Comcast, Verizon, Sprint, NTT, GTT, Cogent, Level 3, and there are many more out there. To give an illustrative example, let's say that you are located in Denver and your ISP is AT&T. Now, let's say that the best route to access your server in Chicago was through Cogent. However, internet weather changes a lot. So 2 weeks later, somebody may make that same query and Cogent may not be the fastest way. It may be something else like NTT. It's all about the number of hops and the latency that it takes to get to that final destination. You want the least amount of hops and the least latency possible in order to go from point A to point B. Essentially, BGP will help with this issue. It will actually find the best route from point A to point B, and it's all dependent on what that hosting provider has in their network mix. This helps offer the lowest latency possible at all times. For example, RackNerd's Los Angeles DC02 location includes CenturyLink, Cogent, GTT, NTT, China Telecom, China Unicom, and ChinaNet in its premium BGP network mix. Another illustrative example here that we can use now that we know what RackNerd's network blend consists of, let's say that NTT has an outage, and our ISP generally likes to go through NTT. So what happens if they have an outage? That means that that server's network would actually become completely unavailable until NTT solves their outage. However, with a BGP network mix, it will automatically reroute against that problematic carrier, in this case NTT, to another carrier, all without any downtime or interruption at all. Not only is a BGP network important, but what's more important are the network providers inside of this mix. For example, if a provider has Cogent and Zayo, that is more of a budget hosting experience versus a hosting provider that has more than just a couple of carriers in their BGP who would otherwise be classified as premium. Now, please note here the defining of budget and premium. It will vary depending on the hosting provider and depending on your requirements and needs, of course. So your mileage may vary there. This is only for example purposes, but it should go without saying the more carriers in a mix, the better. Be sure to check with that hosting provider and ask them what carriers are included in their network mix. You can even ask how their network is structured and designed so that you can understand the redundancy they have in place. Oh, and one last thing, network capacity is important. Sure, the more carriers, the better. But what's the point of more carriers if the capacity is so small or limited with one carrier that it's not even being utilized in a real world environment? With that being said, be sure to also inquire with your provider before purchasing how much capacity they have with every ISP in their network blend. To help verify this, you can also ask for a looking glass, which will contain a test IP and test file that you can use to run trace routes and verify which route or ISPs that you are taking from your location. You can also test from several other sources, such as a website called ping.pe. This will let you test the Looking Glass test IP and verify network paths that various remote locations are taking. I hope by now you have a better understanding of what a BGP network is, and I wanted to thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe. We sincerely appreciate all of your support, and I will see you guys in the next video.